Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Such a miraculous occurrence, it spread like wildfire. The group of Undyings couldn't help but share it with their friends, hence, within a short half an hour, the news of the punk that had only trained for a few hundred years passing the 13th level had already spread throughout. And the main lead Luo Feng, however, wasn't in the least bit excited. I won't go study the 9 universe tablet yet. He suddenly stopped as he headed towards the city leader's residence. Frowning, I had some revelation earlier when I passed the 6 levels. I'll first head back to reflect on it before heading out to study the 9 universe tablet. After which he turned and headed back to this training quarters. Every level he fought, he had exchanged tens of rounds with his opponents. Hence, he had clearly seen their skill and the way they handled their Nanshan armament. All of them had different styles from him, hence it triggered quite a bit of inspiration in him. On the quiet balcony of his training quarters, Luo Feng jumped up and sat cross-legged there, and began to reflect on the many battles. This was very important to him, hence he immediately closed his virtual universe connection to prevent any disruptions. The flow of the primal chaos energies, Luo Feng pondered calmly. He didn't know that he had created a huge commotion throughout. Virtual Universe, Thunder Island, Nineblade Knight's palace. Nineblade Knight stood there and frowned. He was dressed in his green armor with purple scales on his head. Knight, this Luo Feng is too terrifying. Many absolute geniuses start off strong, but slow down towards the back. His improvement, however, simply gets more shocking. He's only lived for a few hundred years, yet is already past the 13th level. He is definitely a rare genius of 10 million eras. The other knights and universe country leaders will definitely want to accept him as their student. When that happens, he may become someone else's underling. You cannot hesitate anymore. Jade stood nervously beside. Nineblade Knight gently held out his hand in mid-air. Jade Emperor immediately held back whatever else she wanted to say, keeping silent. I understand. Nineblade nodded. However, Jade said nervously. Jade was Nineblade Knight's #1 Emperor level Undying. Hence they were very close, and the two of them often discussed problems together. Even though it was Nineblade that gave the orders, Jade was usually the one that organized and led his armies, along with other duties, etc. Nineblade shook his head and smiled. How can I not be clear about it? That Bolin and him have trained for about the same amount of time. However, he only just passed the 8th level, and yet is already considered exceptional amongst the universe levels. This Luo Feng, however, has already passed the 13th level. He is thousands to tens of thousands of times stronger than Bolin. Bolin is a rare genius of 10,000 eras, yet, this Luo Feng naturally is one of 1 in 10 million eras. But look, which of these geniuses of the 10 million eras have never aroused the many powerful people to want them? I'm clear on this, Luo Feng must be clear too. Nineblade shook his head, otherwise, he wouldn't have ignored the mail I personally sent to him. Knight, you've already sent the mail. Jade was shocked. She didn't expect his action to be that fast. He didn't reply. How can he dare not to reply? Jade was shocked. He naturally wouldn't dare not to reply me. However, he's closed his connection to the virtual universe network. Nineblade Knight shook his head. Since he's done that, he naturally cannot receive anything, hence I cannot blame him. Jade was shocked. Clever punk. This Luo Feng sure was cunning. He had probably already expected many powerful people to invite him, or have the intention of accepting him as their disciple, and as he was low in position himself, he wouldn't dare reject anyone. Hence he purposely shut off his connections. This would naturally leave him innocent. Reopening it after a while, after amassing large amounts of mail, he would then be able to pick from the lot. Cunning. Jade said softly. Such a genius, it's natural he has such smarts about him. Nineblade Knight shook his head and smiled. Relax. I am after all the knight above him, and am either directly or indirectly responsible for him. The first mail he should receive should still be mine. After Luo Feng passed the 13th level of the Heavenly Bridge, a huge storm was caused. It didn't only affect the upper echelons of the Virtual Universe Company, it also reached the other races. In a starfield in Desolate Universe Country, there was a slit in space which held a god country within. This majestic god country was where the Bug Clan organization lay in hiding. Within the god country, there was a mountain range that was over 1 million kilometers high. It was the tallest mountain there, and at its peak, there was a shrine that was over 100,000 kilometers tall. It glowed in a dazzling gold light, shining over the land, and silhouettes could be seen within the shrine. Humans, intrepid bug soldiers, they worked harmoniously within. Master, Master. Within the highest level of the shrine, a gold-robed silhouette flashed and appeared within the vast palace, shouting anxiously, "I have important matters to report, important matters." Howl, howl. Over 10,000 gold bug soldiers, undying bug soldiers, scattered within the palace immediately raged as they noticed the gold-robed man rushing straight in. They let out warning signals to him. Almost like they were saying if he showed any more disrespect, they would attack him. Why the rush? What's there to report? A gentle voice resounded within the hall, a voice that calmed one's entire body. The gold-robed man looked respectfully at the large amount of undying soldiers protecting a 10 kilometers tall mother nest. "I just got news that the human genius Luo Feng, number 3, has just attempted the Heavenly Bridge today. He's only lived for a few hundred years, and yet now he's already passed the 13th level." 13th level. Her gentle voice had some suspicion within. Passing the 10th is a normal undying's level. This means that number 3's law comprehension is already akin, or even better than a general already. "Yes, Master." The man replied respectfully but urgently. And to reach such a level in a few short years, compared to the most exceptional Bolan that came from the same batch of the genius competition, he only just passed the 8th level. He cannot compare to Luo Feng at all. That Bolan is already considered a rare genius of the past 10,000 eras, but this Luo Feng is worthy of being one of the past 10 million eras. 10 million eras, that was 100 billion years. Even though the universe had been around for a long time, 10 million eras was still considered a long period of time. Any genius capable of taking that title, such as Kudi and Shahua Knight, even though many had fallen during their time, whoever that didn't, would have shocking achievements. The absolute genius of 10 million eras that didn't die, the weakest would also be an Emperor Pinnacle level. Rare genius of 10 million eras, comparable to Kudi. The gentle voice resounded. "Yes." The gold-robed man said. "When we got rid of Kudi's threat back then, our Bug Clan had spent quite a bit of energy and resources to cause his teacher, the Primal Chaos City leader, to be unable to warp time and space and revive him." The gentle voice resounded. "Raise Luo Feng's position to number 1. I will report this to the race. Our organization already doesn't have enough resources to deal with him. You can go." "Yes." The gold-robed man left respectfully. The universe was infinitely vast, humanity, Bug Clan, automaton race etc., all these together still only took up but a small portion of the universe. In the distant regions, there were other incredibly powerful races. Of which, there was a god country hidden in a slit of space there. This was a god country continent filled with black energy flow. Within the majestic black shrine, "Master." A silhouette covered in black smog knelt respectfully, and within the chilly hall there sat a over 3 kilometers tall silhouette formed from countless black rocks. The surface of the rocks burned with red flames, his nose occasionally shot out black flames. His 2 horns seemed to be made from a translucent ceramic glaze. He looked down at the tiny black silhouette. The majestic silhouette shot out black flames from his nostrils. "Master, we just got word that the Hong Alliance humanity just produced an absolute genius, he's called Luo Feng. He's only trained for a few hundred years, and yet he's already passed the Heavenly Bridge's 13th level." The little silhouette said respectfully. "He is definitely a rare genius of 10 million eras, however he is currently living in the sacred land of humanity Primal Chaos City, with their leader guarding there. Hence, our race has no way to infiltrate." The majestic silhouette gazed down at the silhouette below. Wherever the Primal Chaos City leader guards, there's no hope. We'll wait. When he becomes Sector Lord, he will definitely head out to the outer region wars. There'll naturally be a chance to get rid of him. Countless crystal metals floated about the majestic god country. The entire diameter of the place was about 3 million kilometers, and was completely formed from a peculiar crystal. In the core of the area, a man sat in a jade-green throne. He seemed like a perfect crystal carving, which had the appearance of a human, and on his forehead he had one gold eye. The formless ripples revolved about his eye as it spread over the diameter of 300 kilometers area. The distant Hong Alliance human race has actually produced a rare genius of 10 million eras. Looks like the Bug clan, the demons and the automaton race will all try and find ways to kill him. Sending out knights to do the job will have a guarantee of killing Luo Feng. However, the price would be that of them sacrificing their knights to the powerful warriors of humanity. Using a knight in place for Luo Feng. No race would do that. However, if it's just an undying, trying to assassinate him would be troublesome. Interesting. The 4 pinnacle races have territories close to each other, the more they fight the better. The man said to himself softly, after which he closed his 3 eyes. The news of humanity producing an absolute genius had, within one day, spread throughout the universe to countless races. Primal Chaos City, amongst the countless living quarters, on a particular balcony. Luo Feng opened his eyes while sitting cross-legged, revealing a smile on his face. The reflections have given me good benefits. Barbata. Luo Feng shouted within. Here. Barbata said passionately. As Barbata had only recognized Luo Feng as his true master only after he hit domain lord level, he was now extremely swift and passionate in all his orders now. Open connection to virtual universe network. Luo Feng smiled. There should be mail from quite a number of powerful people. Understood. Barbata was very happy. He immediately opened the network, and a flood of mail entered. A total of 392 mail and 13 call requests. Barbata said. So many. Luo Feng was shocked as he smiled. When he decided to attempt the bridge earlier, he had guessed that passing the 12th and 13th level would create a storm. After all, the strongest of the primal region domain lords that have trained for tens of thousands of years had only reached level 11. He immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe. Virtual Universe Yuxiong Mountain Primal Region. Luo Feng sat at his desk and opened the screen. On it were many mails and some call requests. The main bulk of it is from knights, a total of 322 knights. The others are some powerful undyings, also Wuka and Rong Jun have sent mails. The call requests include those two, and your teacher Tru Yang's call request is here as well. Barbata stood on his shoulder and said. Luo Feng swiftly read through the mails. His viewing speed was shocking as he finished them quickly. The knights don't care about a rare genius of 10,000 eras. As for an absolute monster of 10 million eras, however, this has aroused them. Luo Feng smiled. He could clearly feel their sincerity, as they spoke affectionately to him via the mails, saying how they were willing to accept him as their disciple. Of course, everything was still up to Luo Feng's decision, and these knights didn't bother to force him at all. I'll first pay a visit to my teacher. Luo Feng said. Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng jumped down from his balcony and became a blur, swiftly heading to the not-too-distant Tru Yang Emperor's residence. Teacher. Luo Feng walked into the yard and bowed respectfully. Sit. Tru Yang had some peculiar wine beside him. He poured a glass for Luo Feng. Yes. Luo Feng Saturday. Ha, you really gave me a shock. Tru Yang glanced at him, after which he laughed. I'm sure many knights have sent you mails. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, teacher. Your improvement has been shocking. According to the level and speed, even if you slow down slightly in the future, becoming an Emperor Pinnacle Undying shouldn't be too hard. Tru Yang smiled. After all, a rare genius of 10 million eras, other than falling midway, the weakest still become Emperor Pinnacle, and close to 1/3 of them become knights. After discovering your shocking improvement, they will definitely fight to accept you. After all, the student-teacher relationship is the most sturdy. Luo Feng nodded his head heavily. The strong warriors all had incredibly long lifespans, hence their relatives would all die off. Their next closest person would naturally be their teacher. Respecting their teachers, this was something very important amongst humanity. Even if one of them exceeded his teacher in strength, he still would have to respect him. Because the teacher was the one who guided and sped up your training, and a true teacher would have helped you time and again. This debt was huge. Naturally, respect was a given. Whoever disrespected his teacher would be held with disdain by all the warriors. This was also why the knights all wanted to accept Luo Feng as their disciple. As long as he didn't die halfway, he would at least reach the emperor-level pinnacle, and would become someone who is completely able to become their right or left arms. And the moment he became a knight, with a knight disciple, whether it was the wars or exploring the universe secret regions, outer region battles etc., with the student and teacher working together there was a higher guarantee of success. Others may backstab or kill others etc., however these sort of things hardly ever happen between student and teacher. Whoever dared to kill their teacher, if it was discovered, they would be made a public enemy. Have you decided? Tru Yang looked at him, then, who will you choose be your teacher? I. Luo Feng was hesitating. Don't hesitate, which warrior doesn't have a group of teachers? Tru Yang laughed loudly. Back then, I too climbed from a weak warrior to having a group of teachers. A teacher's capability is after all limited. For the sake of humanity's growth, there's naturally no limit to one person having only one teacher, it would only waste your talents. Luo Feng nodded. There are many knights, however I don't know which to choose. Luo Feng said. Within, he was thinking of getting Tian Shi Palace's leader. It couldn't be helped. Tian Shi Palace's leader never sent out any mail. As for the other over 300 knights, Luo Feng mostly didn't even recognize them, he didn't know who was strong or weak. The mail they all sent only briefly explained their abilities, however Luo Feng naturally understood the theory of overselling oneself, and that not everything they said could be believed. Let me recommend you one. Tru Yang smiled. Luo Feng was stunned. Primal Chaos City Leader. Tru Yang emphasized. Ah. Luo Feng was shocked. Primal Chaos City Leader. The super being that guarded the sacred land of humanity itself. With the trillions of other races eyeing this sacred land constantly, the importance of this location could only be imagined. However, after so long, no other race has ever dared come invade this Primal Chaos City. One could only imagine how powerful this being was. However, teacher, he didn't send me any mail. Luo Feng said. Am I to personally go promote myself? No. Tru Yang shook his head. Even though he hasn't sent a mail, he sent someone to tell me that is willing to take you as a disciple in name. Disciple in name? Luo Feng was stunned. Ha, the city leader's position and status is extremely high up. Even though your performance was not bad, you still haven't earned the right to become his true disciple. Tru Yang laughed loudly. His disciples are all normally made up of knights. Of course, that Kudi was his disciple too. But compared to Kudi, you are still somewhat weaker. Luo Feng nodded his head and accepted it. Kudi had passed the primal region's Sky Mountain at Universe, Domain Lord and Sector Lord level. At Sector Lord he was akin to an Emperor-level Undying, who was even able to kill official-level Undyings. It was said that his law comprehension at Sector Lord level was capable of passing the 20th level, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to use his Sector Lord body to kill an official-level Undying. Such an absolute genius, only he was accepted as a disciple. The city leader has also left a Primal Chaos tablet, do you know which one? Tru Yang smiled at Luo Feng. 52 tablets. Luo Feng was shocked, in his mind the names of each tablet appeared. The Universe tablet. Tru Yang said. The second-ranked tablet. Luo Feng took a deep breath. 52 Primal Chaos tablets, the Huge Axe tablet was number 1 and the Universe tablet was number 2. The huge axe tablet was left behind by the creator of the huge axe dojo, and the universe tablet was left by the primal chaos city leader. From this, it could be seen that this city leader should be among the top 3 pinnacle beings of the entire humanity. He guarded primal chaos city for countless eras, making countless other races not dare to enter. An absolute pinnacle being. Even though the other knights will take you as their disciple and the city leader is only taking you in name, however, even in name, if you perform exceptionally in the future, you will rise to become his disciple. True Yang smiled. With him as your teacher, no one in humanity will dare mess with you. Incidents like Yang Zhu Emperor messing with you will never happen again. Of course, the warriors of the other races will not care about him. Luo Feng nodded. The other races. Right? Humanity was but one race, the other races and its warriors, and their great beings akin to the huge axe dojo's founder, they existed. Even the Yangshan race was left behind by a great being. The Demon Note inheritance, the Ice Mountain inheritance, they were probably left by other races too. The universe was vast with many powerful beings. It was indeed important to always be humble. I've decided, Luo Feng nodded. I will take the primal chaos city leader as my teacher. Ha ha. True Yang nodded satisfied. However, go see Nineblade Knight first and tell him of your decision. He is after all the knight in charge of you. Once he knows you are taking the primal chaos city leader as your teacher, he wouldn't dare say anything either. He is after all one of the top people in the virtual universe company. Top person in the virtual universe company. Luo Feng couldn't take it anymore. He really wanted to see this being personally, who was a true pinnacle being. Compared to the huge axe dojo founder, he couldn't be too far off. Otherwise, how could he guard over the sacred land of humanity and stop all other races from invasion? Luo Feng couldn't wait anymore. He quickly first connected to the virtual universe and headed to Nineblade Knight's special space, respectfully visiting him. Nineblade Knight was a lot more courteous to Luo Feng this time. Of course, once he knew the city leader was taking him as a disciple in name, Nineblade Knight was helpless to stop it. He was after all, the primal chaos city leader. Even as a disciple in name, Luo Feng's position was still much higher than any other knight's disciples. Ha ha, you seem impatient. Nineblade Knight said in the throne above. He gazed down and smiled. Since the city leader has given the order, then hurry and head over. Remember, there should never be any disrespect before him. His has been the guardian of humanity's sacred land for countless ages. His contribution to humanity is immeasurable. Yes, Knight. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. After which he vanished. At the same time, Luo Feng walked out of his teacher True Yang's residence and followed the vast walkways to the city leader's residence. From afar, he could already see the majestic palace. Primal Chaos City Leader. Luo Feng muttered to himself softly. The main entrance of the city leader's residence was left open, with people frequently heading in and out. Luo Feng followed his usual path in. In the past, he had always been heading towards the 9 Universe tablet. This time, however, he was heading to visit the city leader. The city leader's inner mansion. Luo Feng took a deep breath and walked towards the highly guarded area. The outer areas were all lax and free. The inner areas, however, had guards all over. With just a glance, one could see that all of them were undyings. Clang! 2 guards simultaneously banged their pikes and stopped Luo Feng, looking coldly at him. I am Luo Feng. I'm here to visit the city leader. Luo Feng said respectfully. The city leader isn't a person you can visit as you will. One of the guards, engulfed in lightning, looked coldly at him. Without his order, even a knight won't be able to see him. For him to actually become a guard of the Primal Chaos City Leader, it was something very honorable. This was the Primal Chaos City Leader, the #1 being in the virtual universe company, a true authority. The Undyings would all fight simply to guard the place, even though they were just guards. Their authority allowed them to disregard even knights, as they represented the Primal Chaos City Leader. Please check. Luo Feng smiled. I did indeed receive his order to come here. Ah? The surrounding group of Undyings all looked at Luo Feng. Right? Without the city leader's order, why would this little punk dare come here in the first place? Please wait, I'll go check. The guard covered in lightning no longer had a cold expression, he smiled passionately. You are Luo Feng. After a while, the guard looked shocked at him. Luo Feng nodded and smiled. Go in, Nineblade Knight is waiting for you within. The guard said and withdrew his blockade, allowing Luo Feng to enter. Luo Feng smiled and entered the mansion, as the group of Undying guards about all began to discuss amongst themselves. It was extremely rare, even within the past 100 million years, for a domain lord or sector lord to be able to enter the city leader's residence. This was his living quarters. Within, he followed the spacious walkways and quickly reached a primal stone plaza. He glanced into the distance, spotting a fiery red-robed bald man. He was smiling indifferently, he seemed calm. Just from looking at this man, Luo Feng couldn't help but calm down, feeling as though he had melded into the spacious and calm space. Everything about him seemed to vanish, leaving only that bald man. Luo Feng was stunned as he awoke. What a terrifying being! Tianxia Palace, Undying Knight, Shihua Knight, Nineblade Knight. I feel like these knights are all incredibly powerful. And even though the Emperor-level Undyings are strong, I can still faintly determine their strength. As for this man before me, I cannot tell at all, he should be a knight. Luo Feng instantly confirmed. He should be the Nineblade Knight the knights mentioned. Luo Feng walked towards the red-robed bald man. I am Nineblade Knight. I'm here to receive you on my teacher's orders. He smiled. The energy he emitted had an immediate influence on Luo Feng's soul. Luo Feng greets Nineblade Knight. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. Follow me. Nineblade Knight said. Yes. Luo Feng said respectfully and followed. The knight led Luo Feng through the mansion, smiling as he turned towards him. Teacher is willing to take you as his disciple in name, and from what I see, it seems that you've agreed. Yes. Luo Feng nodded. Since you've become his disciple in name, you don't have to call me Nineblade Knight anymore. Just call me second senior instead. Nineblade Knight smiled. I went under him very early, hence I became the second senior. He has other disciples under him with many of them stronger than even me. However, he favors me, hence I get to stay close to him. Luo Feng said, greetings second senior. Nineblade Knight smiled and talked as they walked. Teacher has 3 great bodies, the one in Primal Chaos City is here to kill and punish. Hence, you have to be extremely respectful, you cannot offend him. Yes. Luo Feng was shocked as he replied. My God. That Primal Chaos City leader actually has 3 bodies, and the one left in the city was for killing and punishment. Just one body of his was enough to guard the entire Primal Chaos City. If that was so, the strength he had in total was unimaginable. Actually, the city leader having 3 bodies was not a secret at all. The strong were still the strong, hence he was respected. He had massacred and killed countless other warriors from other races. His 3 bodies are well known throughout the trillions of races in the universe, every one of them having unbelievable power. Primal Chaos Ruins. Luo Feng looked into a quiet yard ahead. There was a stone tablet there with 3 words on it. Teacher is within. Nineblade Knight said and brought Luo Feng in. Luo Feng stepped through. Rumble. Time and space warped. Initially, they were in the city leader's residence, however the moment he took a step into the yard, he felt the stars and everything warp, he had entered into a boundless world. Endless ground before them, with bodies all about. Some were as big as planets, some smaller than humans, however they all emanated terrifying energies. This was probably the ruins of a terrifying pinnacle battle. Luo Feng and Nineblade Knight walked through the endless ruins. Teacher! Nineblade Knight suddenly shouted. Luo Feng was shocked to discover a 3-meter-tall and sturdy man in the distance. He wore an incredibly complex ancient dark red armor with boots on, and a snake tail extending out of his armor behind. As Luo Feng's gaze landed on him, he felt his soul shudder within. He had only spotted a silhouette initially, yet now he was looking at endless universe laws, the vast universe laws, and the killing intent emanating from him. It made Luo Feng's soul completely submit. No sense of resistance. Luo Feng. A very normal voice resounded. The illusion before was completely shattered as Luo Feng once again saw the man standing before them. This red-armored man with a snake tail turned to look at him. There were 2 red horns on his forehead with peculiar engravings on them. It seemed evil and terrifying, however his eyes were calm like the vast ocean, like the endless space. It made one calm down from within. Luo Feng greets Lord City Leader. Luo Feng knelt down. Terrifying, too terrifying. Luo Feng shuddered within. That first glance, I thought I was staring at the universe laws themselves. Right, this is the level of which one becomes the laws. Shi Luo Duo had said so too, the beast god is fused with the laws, every action triggers them. Even the statue of it has the laws within. And the Primal Chaos City Leader, since he's reached this level, naturally he carries the laws within. Just looking at him, it was like looking at the powerful amount of law energies he has. This was an extreme realm. One that definitely exceeded the Knights, a true pinnacle being of the vast universe. Your performance was not bad, your encounters are quite plenty too. He looked at Luo Feng and smiled. Luo Feng listened respectfully. Within, however, he was panicking, because he felt like the gaze of the city leader could see through him completely. It was almost like there was no secret he could keep from him. My Mosha body is keeping the core with him and his hiding in the world ring. I've already refined that ring. I'll know if anybody scans it. And if anybody scans my core, I should know that too. However, this city leader's power is unbelievable, it's hard to say. He is after all the city leader, he wouldn't bother to scan my world ring. I've seen the footage of your heavenly bridge attempt, you are almost done with the 108 wonders of the space. The city leader smiled. And it's been less than 90 years this time in Primal Chaos City. To almost finish the 108 wonders within this time frame is not bad. Luo Feng listened obediently. You passing the 13th level. It should be from the beast god presence you got from the Goldhorn Race's Beast God Canyon, right? The city leader said. Yes. Luo Feng said. Within, however, he shuddered. Terrifying, even though the city leader's guess was somewhat off, it wasn't completely wrong. As Luo Feng had copied the huge sleeping beast god statue trillions of times in the Beast God Canyon, that was how he got some bit of the presence. The little beast god statue he got couldn't be copied at all. The moment he copied a little too much of it, the universe would punish him. Only the statue Shi Luo Duo left behind was possible. To be able to comprehend a bit of the presence is not bad already. The city leader said, Are you willing to be my disciple in name? I am willing. Luo Feng said respectfully. The city leader nodded his head. He, one that stood at the pinnacle of humanity, even though a genius was important, he was very clear that some people may have slow comprehension speeds. Regardless, after constantly break through their boundaries, they too could become knights. Hence, unless it was an absolute genius of 10 million eras, he wouldn't care. Even such a genius, he would still observe for a while before actually accepting him as a true disciple. I know Truyang exchanged the top half of the Nan Shan 7 forms for you. The city leader said. And since you can actually comprehend a little of the beast god presence, it shows that you have a talent in the fusion of the laws. However, fusion of the laws is tens of thousands of times harder than simply comprehending one law. I'll give you time, 3,000 years. The city leader said. If you can finish the first form of the Nan Shan 7 forms in 3,000 years here in Primal Chaos City, I will accept you as my disciple. The city leader said to Luo Feng. This video will end here.